All right, welcome. Today, we're going to break down the exact professional Git workflow that engineering teams use every single day. If you've ever wondered how these huge teams build massive projects without everything just catching on fire, you are in exactly the right place.
I mean, it all really comes down to this one question, right? Just picture it, a dozen developers all trying to edit the same code at the same time. It sounds like a recipe for total disaster, doesn't it? And honestly, it would be if it weren't for the super solid system we're about to walk through. So here's the core issue. Without a clear, structured process, chaos is pretty much guaranteed. You've got developers accidentally wiping out each other's work, features that work perfectly on one person's laptop but completely break the main product, and you're left with a project history that's just impossible to follow. It's a real mess.
But there is a solution, a clean, repeatable workflow that makes all this collaboration feel seamless. Seriously, this process is the bedrock of how modern software gets made. So let's dive in and walk through it step by step.
Okay, every single new piece of work, every feature, every bug fix, it all starts right here. First things first, if you're new to the project, you clone the repo. That's just a one-time thing. But the part you'll do every time is crucial. You check out the main branch and then pull down all the latest changes. This one little habit prevents so many headaches later because you're always starting from the most up-to-date version of the code. Then, and only then, do you create your own new branch to work on your feature. So now, you're in your own safe little sandbox, your new branch. This is your space. You can write code, experiment, make all the changes you need, and you won't break anything for anyone else. As you're working, you'll get into a rhythm. Use git status to see what you've changed, git add to get those files ready to be saved, and then git commit to lock in that snapshot of your work with a clear message. Just think of a commit as your own personal safe point.
And speaking of those commit messages, oh man, they are so incredibly important. This is your chance to tell the story of the project. A bad message is just, updated file. Useless. But a good one, like refactored base page waits, tells your team exactly what you did and, more importantly, why you did it. It's the difference between a confusing mess and a crystal clear project history. Okay, so you've made your changes, you've committed them locally. Now it's time to share your awesome work with the rest of the team. You do this by pushing your branch up to the remote server, like GitHub or GitLab. And then you create what's called a pull request, or a PR. This is basically you formally saying, hey team, my new feature is ready, can you please take a look and merge it into the main project? And this is where the real teamwork magic happens. Your teammates will look over your pull request, they'll read your code, and they might leave comments or suggestions. This is a good thing. You might make a few tweaks, commit them, and push them up, and the PR just updates automatically. Once everyone gives it the thumbs up and it gets approved, your code is merged into the main branch. And the very last step, delete your feature branch. It keeps the repository clean and tidy. So we've gone through the whole thing, from start to finish. But how do you boil all that down into something you can say professionally, maybe in a job interview? Let's distill this into the perfect, concise answer. This right here, this is gold. This single statement proves you get the entire collaborative lifecycle. It's clean, it's professional, and it shows that you know exactly how to work on a modern engineering team. Seriously, burn this one into your brain. It's the kind of answer that lands jobs. Now, of course, the real world is a bit messy. It doesn't always go that smoothly. So what happens when you try to merge your code, but someone else has changed the very same lines you're working on? Well, you get the dreaded merge conflict. When you see a message like this pop up on your screen, it's easy to panic. Your first thought might be, oh no, I broke everything. But it's not a critical error. Really, it's just Git's way of pausing and saying, hey, I see two different changes here, and I'm not smart enough to know which one is right. I need a human, you, to help me figure this out. So, to put it simply, a merge conflict is just what happens when Git can't automatically figure out how to combine two different versions of a file. It needs you to step in and be the tiebreaker. That's all it is. And this is a perfect example of what you'll actually see inside that conflicted file. Git literally edits the file for you, and it shows you both competing versions right there, side by side. The part marked head, that's your code. The other part is the incoming code from the other branch. Your job is just to look at both and decide what the final version should be. All right, so how do you fix it? The process is actually pretty straightforward. First, you can run git status to see exactly which files have conflicts. Then you just open each file in your code editor. You look at the two versions and decide what to keep. Is it your code, their code, or maybe a mix of both? Once you've edited the file to look exactly how you want it, you just delete those special marker lines that get added in. So once you've cleaned up the file and it looks perfect, you just need to tell Git you're done. You add the file you just fixed, you commit it with a message like resolved merge conflict, and then you push your changes. And this is the most important step of all, always run your tests again to make sure your fix didn't accidentally break something else. Okay, so we've covered the how, the whole process from start to finish, and even how to fix it when things go wrong. But let's wrap up with the most important part, the why. Why do professional teams insist on this exact workflow? You see, following this workflow isn't just about avoiding chaos. It's about building quality software. It protects the heart of your project, the main branch, and keeps it stable and ready to deploy at a moment's notice. It also makes your team better through code reviews, and it creates a clean, documented history of every single decision made. It's this powerful combination of a stable foundation and collaborative review that really builds incredible products. So the next time you create a branch, just remember what you're really doing. You're not just writing a little bit of code. You're participating in a system that's designed for clarity, quality, and teamwork. So I'll leave you with this. What chaos are you preventing with your next clean merge? Thanks for joining me.